Yes, this is still the Caucasus podcast, and today I have a little bit different intro to today's episode because today's episode is also a little bit unusual because this is the topic of stray animals in Georgia, a topic that many of you asked for us to prepare it. So we were discussing that with Marta, so my colleague from Języki Kaukazu, languages of the Caucasus, with whom we're preparing the Caucasus podcast for you, and we thought the best option for you to dive into this topic, to learn more, to understand better the situation, is to hear it directly from someone who is working such an organization, helping stray dogs and also helping from the legal perspective, from daily life perspective, and in general working in Georgia. So that's the situation of stray animals. We're especially talking about dogs and cats, is hopefully going to change slowly but surely. We'll be talking also a little bit more about how you, as a tourist, as a foreigner, also in Georgia, can help just going even for one week, and how to behave also around these animals. That was very also interesting for me because I have to admit I'm a little bit afraid of especially those big dogs in Georgia, because at least I never know what would happen, and they feel that in lots of fear. So also from that perspective, we are talking as well, and a little bit about the reasons why there are right now so many stray dogs and stray cats on the streets of Georgian, bigger, smaller cities, and also in the villages. So I hope that you enjoy this episode, and let's start today's episode of the Caucasus podcast. Hello, welcome to the Caucasus podcast. I'm very glad that we are in this particular set and this in particular group. And the topic that we'll be discussing today, I do believe that it is not only vital, but probably a question, or I think that lots of people coming to Georgia are thinking about, and people living in Georgia, both Georgians and non-Georgians. So we'll be talking about animals, and to be more precise, that is stray animals. So maybe Natia will start with a question in general about pets in Georgia and the concept of like having an animal like a dog at home, and how does it look like right now? Like maybe from that perspective, whether like dog is the most popular one, or is it in general popular concepts in Georgia?
Hello. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for talking about this problem. In Georgia, we have a huge problem regarding stray animals, and of course, raising awareness around it, not just in Georgia but abroad, is very important for us. And thank you one more time. Regarding popularity of dogs, in the last 10 to 15 years, having dogs and cats actually in Georgia has become more common. I mean, the number increased, demand increased, so to say. Among pets, cats and dogs percentage is significantly higher than others. For example, I don't know, parrots or something like other animals. And actually, I don't know if dogs are more popular than cats, but because we don't have any official data, unfortunately. Just in my opinion, maybe dogs are more popular, but not too much. We love cats as well.
It may be that dogs are more visible. That's my impression. Also, I'm curious. What are your thoughts, both Natia and Marta? My impression, especially going to cities, no, also in small cities and towns and villages, I think I had similar perspective. I can see simply more dogs, yeah, than cats, especially at home. If you have cats, or probably in the house, and these are the ones that will just stay at home, and also cats most like are presence on the streets during the night. That's the thought. Yeah. So the case that dogs are maybe the impression is that lots of dogs and topic about around dogs. And is it changing from your perspective, or maybe if I can ask, like from a childhood perspective, or that it is more popular right now to have the animal at home, not just around your farm, etc. Yes, or
Not in
this
the yard.
village. Yeah, not in the yard, not that like as a labor power. Yeah, but as a
Definitely.
friend at home. Yeah.
Yes. As a companion
Yeah.
animal, I mean, what the pet is, you are absolutely right. The popularity is increasing, and in Georgia, more and more people have dogs and cats at their homes, at their apartments, not just in villages, and not just for some things to do. I mean, they are definitely friends and companions as well. I mean, especially last 5 years, the number increased very
Yeah,
much.
I can say from my perspective that for last 3 years, I have seen a rapid development of zoo shops everywhere, pet shops, different chains, different accessorizes. Before, it wasn't so popular, so for sure, that part increases. It's getting more popular.
Yes, Marta is right. Not just, yeah, I mean, groomings also are very popular and trendy business actually to do
Hmm.
in Tbilisi, especially right now. So you're right. Yeah. I mean, the industry is also growing around pets.
Yeah, so I guess these pets are the lucky ones, and we wanted to ask you about these stray ones, these which are on the streets, which usually don't have any owners or people who care about them. You already mentioned that there is no official statistics about the amount of stray dogs. I have read a couple materials, also including interview with Mariam Shikeladze, the creator of Zero Strays Georgia, and there she mentioned that there is probably around half of million stray dogs in Georgia, which is a lot comparing to the amount of human
People.
citizens of Georgia, which is almost 4 million. It's around 3.7 millions. So half million only of dogs, it's really a huge, huge amount. Is this number increasing, decreasing? How would you comment this number?
I mean, yeah, despite the lack of official data, because government does not track them nationwide, they track them in Tbilisi somehow chaotically in some other regions, but it's does not have a systemic look. So with general observations, we can suggest that their number are increasing because we know that if we want the number of the stray pets to decrease, we should sterilize at least 70% of the general population. And if we don't know how many are there, we can't count budgets for several regions and even for Tbilisi. I mean, some data suggests that actually Mayhew, Georgia has provided. They have done some research in the recent past, and they said that around 30,000 dogs are just in Tbilisi, and only 7 to 10% of them are sterilized. But they mentioned themselves that they don't had enough human and other resources, and that's why this research is not accurate, and at least we should double these numbers. So according to this information and according to information how many pets are sterilized with the help of the governmental institution, which is located in Tbilisi and does only Tbilisi sterilizations, um, it's not near it's 70%. I mean, it's around 10 to maybe 30%, because not only government, but also other non-governmental organizations do sterilizations in Tbilisi and in other regions. So we think that numbers are increasing, and we think that also because more people got involved in this problem and more people want to help to stray pets, more people try to at least feed them. And when they are more healthy and more fed, at least they can reproduce more.
The side
So
effects, let's say, from the
yeah, let's say when government does not care about the issue and they are only people who can take care of them. I mean, it's of course not systemic, and I mean, yeah, things like this happens.
Asha, do you want to
I'm just curious from one perspective, because we are talking about this number. We also like, what are the statistics right now, and we are talking like in comparison, as you said, with amount of Georgian citizens, like people, this amount of just dogs. I do believe cats as cat mom. I can tell you that. I believe that it is much harder to count cats yeah, than dogs. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious from the perspective, can you identify any reasons, like why is there are these many, stray dogs? One, I do understand that they breed simply. Yes, if there's like four of them, there's more and more. That maybe there are some other factors that's we can look into, like why it happens, because probably this is, at least I know from some of my friends, or like some foreigners I talked to coming to Georgia, and one of the questions, like why there is like so many stray dogs on the streets right now. And also I've been living in Georgia. I've known Georgia for almost 20 years now, and I do remember that it varies. And my impression right now, this amount of stray dogs and stray animals on the streets are like more visible, let's say, than it was. I'm curious, what is your look on the situation right now? Yeah.
I mean, there is no unified legislative system in Georgia that regulates both animal breeding and their population, which is very important to regulate, and the enforcement of pet care rules, simple pet care rules, for example, abandonment, etc. The neglect of these two issues is what leads to the problem of stray animals at our country. Of course, the public awareness was very low, and still we have problems in regions, and they don't understand the responsibilities that comes adopting or buy a dog. People were buying or gifting animals to one another without knowing how to properly care for them, and yeah, many lacked information about sterilizations as well. Some people are even against us and against it, actually. And yeah, as a result, more and more people started abandoning their pets on the streets, and there is, of course, no law in our country to prevent this practice. Additionally, pets in Georgia are not expensive. I mean, purebred pets, because of their breeding actually is not official. We don't know, I mean, how they are breeding pets, how these rules work, etc. And for example, you can take for free even some Labradors on a lot of other purebreds, and especially hunting breeds, simply because they reproduce far more than people are willing to adopt them. As a result, almost every type of hunting breed can be found abundant on the streets in Georgia. There are a significant number of Labradors, as I already mentioned, Cocker Spaniels, Huskies, Caucasian, and Georgian Shepherds that are huge. And I mean, where people see them for the first times, of course, they are afraid because they are like, I mean, very, very big dogs, and yeah, other pit bulls, and I mean, almost every breed you can find, and their mixed breeds you can find on the streets.
Okay, so we discussed the institutional problem, the lack of monitoring and lack of the law which would regulate what's happening. You mentioned the social problem that awareness of owners of pets is not as high as it should be to maintain these pets inside the houses. And you also mentioned that there are so many pure breed, or at least visible breed dogs on the streets. It's really weird to see, for example, pure breed huskies, beautiful huskies on the streets, which are just abandoned, and it's visible that they are abandoned because they are hungry, they are hurt, they are with collars. But as I saw also on social medias, people just know that someone abandoned them. I saw also beagles abandoned, which I know they were at some point very popular. Like it was very fashion to have a beagle in a Georgia, and suddenly these beagles appeared to be on the streets. And knowing that smaller breeds are not as strong as other stray dogs, I guess probably they have difficulties with surviving on Georgian streets, especially outside of the big cities. So I wanted also to ask you, what are the social issues that someone decides to buy quite expensive dog? Because let's say beagle is not, it's not so cheap according to let's say average Georgian salary, or any other breed. They decide to buy it, and at some point they just abandon them. What is the reason usually which causes this process to happen? Because it's really weird to see pure breed dogs on the streets. This is really unusual situation for me.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right about huskies as well. About 10 years ago, huskies became very trendy. I think it was because of their looks. I mean, they have blue eyes, fluffy fur, etc. But yeah, no one searched their specific needs. No one knew how huskies, what is huskies, I mean, important needs, like to walk a lot, I mean, run a lot during the day, and they need specific temperature as well. And for example, in Tbilisi and in other regions, there can be 40 degrees Celsius hot in summer, and I mean, they are take care very badly, and that was the reason why huskies were abandoned so much. Sometimes they also escaped because they just wanted to run, and like they had this excess of energy, and they are mistreated a lot, of course, like being tied up with a short rope all day long, or kept them in unsuitable temperature conditions, as I have already mentioned. So why people want to have a purebred dog? I mean, I think it's because they think that it's have special status. So I don't know, maybe, yeah, it's cooler to have a purebred dog, represents some certain status, so to say. And additionally, many people just want specific looking dog, or specific appearances. even though, I mean, today in Georgia, you can truly find any kinds of dog and cats on the streets. And maybe some people think that having a purebred dog is safer somehow because they believe they know its origins, which is not true, because in Georgia, I mean, breeds are very, very, I mean, they are destroyed, they have genetic genes, etc. And maybe some behavioral patterns as well. They want to know them earlier, but I want to add that I don't think that Georgians think so much when buying a pet. They don't search any specific needs or any specific, I don't know, maybe even some diseases, what maybe occur. For example, we have also some diseases problem as well in some specific breeds because of inbreeding, etc. So I don't know, maybe it's just a unconscious thinking that it's cooler to have purebred dog. That's it.
Yeah, I have seen in my case, my dog is taken from the streets from North Macedonia, and she's here with us in Georgia. And many times I had very weird conversations with people on the streets who had these breed dogs, those fancy ones, as I call them, and it's really visible that these breed ones are more privileged, that they're more privileged in that case, that they are allowed to be at home, and people very often react in so weird way that my street dog, post ex-street dog, sleeps on the couch in my house. That why is she inside of the house? It's a girl, because they are like, but maybe she's dirty. And this question, why is she inside? Uh, for me was very weird, but then I realized that this category of having a pure breed dog and having a street dog is really important for the people, even though sometimes they don't treat their dogs,
Evenly.
yeah, properly as they should because of some health issues or even nutrition issues.
Yeah, I mean, they don't look at them evenly. I mean, a lot of we have extra problem. A lot of people who own purebred dogs have aggressive regards stray dogs, and very often they are the reason that stray dogs have some problem in their neighborhood, on the streets, etc. This is also very strange for me. I don't understand. If you love animals, if you love dogs, you should, and if you live in Georgia, you should have at least so less information that understand that it's not their fault that they are on the streets and it's not their choice. And really nobody wants these pure animals to be on the streets, but it's our social issue. These pets have the right to be there where they are because it's our responsibility that this social problem was created at the first time. And these people don't understand it. These people have no responsibility, no empathy, and they look them as a completely different species, completely different kind of animals that are they don't have just enough empathy, and it's a problem. I really don't have a reason why do they think that, but we really try. We work hard to raise awareness regarding stray pets and help them to be more trendy, more acceptable, more wanted to like adopt them instead of buying. We did some campaigns, unfortunately, during this crazy situation politically in Georgia, what is happening right now, was not a distract, but a real big problem for us, because we can't continue our work. It's like irrelevant to talk about stray pet problems right now, because like people are beaten up on the streets, and we have this Russian law is very terrible law, and we just can't work anymore. And we can't focus on these problems, unfortunately. But this campaign was started, it stopped, and we hope that we will have availability to continue it very, very soon. I mean, we photo shooted celebrities and influencers in Georgia in different fields who already have stray pets at home, and who already have adopted mixed breed pets. And they were just sharing their stories. Why did they do that? What they think about that, and why it is important to adopt instead of buying. It has very nice review and very nice response. But yeah, as I have mentioned, we have just stopped it for now.
Yeah, I wanted now to move to the progress, if there is any progress, but also I wanted to ask you, can you observe that progress, but dividing it into big cities and more rural areas, villages?
Yeah, okay. It's clever to do, yeah, because in big city situation is much, I mean, better than in small regions and small villages. But there is very vivid difference between Tbilisi central districts and in suburbs and in regions. I mean, in Tbilisi, pets are like very good taken care of. In central areas, I mean, at least they are more or less sterilized. They have enough food, and people are not so much aggressive towards them, and they love them and they take care of them. But in smaller cities and in the villages, the situation is much worse in almost every region outside the capital. Even, I mean, aside from Tbilisi, there is no governmental body like the Tbilisi Animal Monitoring Agency. This agency is responsible, at least on paper, for managing the number of stray animals, like helping them on the streets and enforcing the pet care rules. However, the fine for violation this pet care rule or something is only 8 gel. I mean, the fine is really, really small, and with limited human resources, they cannot respond to all calls and everything. The efforts are like very ineffective. They do not reduce the number of strays, that is more importantly. Unfortunately, the regions do not even get these minimal services. I mean, there is nothing officially, to put it simply, like there is no one in the regions who is responsible for removing dead animal from the streets. There is nothing,
Yeah,
and
so
we
I
are
see
not.
the problem is very systematical, and the system is there is no system which could
Yeah,
improve and make that
yeah,
progress
yeah.
here.
Because
So
they are.
I see that Tbilisi is in a really good path to reduction of street animals. Rural parts are not even
Oh,
close to any progress. Rather, they are on a really difficult way to enlarge this group of stray animals. Also in I guess in smaller cities like Kutaisi, Tel Aviv, still there are some attempts of help, but still it's not enough. I also wanted to ask you about shelters, because in other countries shelter should be. It's not always, but that safe place for a dog or cat which comes from a street to shelter. But that's not the case in Georgia. The shelters, as I know, as I visited them, are really not a place where animals should be, which is, of course, ridiculous because it's a place for dogs, created for animals in general, but it's better than not to get there. Why is that? What's wrong with Georgian shelters?
I mean, we have some governmental shelters, and they just don't have qualified staff. They don't have any infrastructure, anything at all. They don't have any human resources or budgets. So the conditions are very bad. And we think that people who work in the governmental shelters, almost no one cares about them at all. I mean, they do not have any empathy. They don't love pets, to put it simply. I don't know why they have chosen such stuff, but it is the reality. And to be, honest, they don't even have much possibilities to do so. For example, in Tbilisi municipality monitoring animal agency, that also has shelter, don't have ultrasound, X-ray, not mentioning CT and MRIs, which are not at all in Georgia. We have no such service at all. So I think the problem of governmental shelters is that lack of everything. And regarding private shelters, which are not many, they just don't have enough space. And regardless of the small space, some of the shelters adding more and more pets because they just can't handle this pain where you see a pet who needs help and I mean you have not enough space. Sometimes they think recklessly as well, and they spread some various diseases because they don't do the strict quarantines, etc. Which is, I understand that it is very difficult to do when you don't have enough resources, but still, I mean, they should be responsible and they should think more practically, and maybe sometimes to saying no is better than saying yes and then I mean killing a lot of pets at one time. So these are the problems. I mean, there are much more pets in Georgia than organizations or shelters or governmental structures to handle them. It is also very big problem mentally, actually, because the activists and the pet lovers who maybe even those, for example, me who lives in Tbilisi, and I of course see much less, and of course I am mentally and physically less involved, because in regions, I mean, almost every going outside every day is stress and some trauma, maybe because you can see and you can find every day a pet who needs immediate help, and there is just not enough resources for that. So we have this problem, definitely. Government just don't provide any help regarding pet food or some helping with some diseases or maybe giving us some medication, nothing. I mean, they're just doing sterilization, castration, and they are not doing that enough as well.
About that castration and sterilization, what about the ear tags? Because at least in touristic places, for example, Kutaisi Airport, all of the dogs around are with the ear tags. In Tbilisi as well, some of the dogs in bigger cities like Batumi, Kutaisi, but again, in central parts, they have the ear tags, and there were many questions why what stands behind the color of the ear tag, the shape, because the shapes they are not unified. And at
Mhm.
some point, I thought that I understand what means, but then I moved to another city and I saw different colors, different shapes, and now I
You're
completely
lost.
don't know what does mean.
So, I mean, a lot of tourists and a lot of foreigners ask me this question, and the answer is very, very simple. If a pet has any kind of tag, does not matter how, I mean, which color and what shape, etc. At least if a pet has a tag, it means that the animal has been sterilized and has received a rabies vaccine at least once. In theory, the National Food Agency should vaccinate for rabies annually these pets. However, since these animals are not registered in a unified database, we cannot say with certainty that every animal is vaccinated for rabies each year, but at least on paper, it should be that way. Sterilization are most frequently and efficiently carried out in Tbilisi, though still in insufficient numbers, but in some regions and also in Tbilisi as well, there are some organizations, so Zero Stray Georgian Animal Project as well, who also does sterilization, castration programs, and we use just the tags that are available at the moment on the market. I mean,
Okay,
simply
so any
what
tag
you can
is a
buy.
good sign.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't
So
understand.
any tag means a good sign.
Yes, it's not a bad sign. Yeah, some guy asked me. I thought he said that he thought red one meant these are bad dogs, and the green one were good dogs. I mean, it was
Okay,
very
so any
funny.
tag is a good tag. So
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah,
matter red,
yeah.
black, yellow. Okay,
So
that
as we are with this one, I'm curious. Yeah, as you mentioned already, with tourists coming to Georgia, with foreigners, like digital nomads, like different of because of different reasons, foreigners general coming to Georgia, and I'm curious. What is your perspective then? Let's say I'm walking across Kutaisi, Tbilisi, or I go for hiking some rural area. I see dog or like group of dogs, yes, a pack of dogs there. And what should I do? What would be the best for them and for myself in these situations? Yeah.
I mean, to be safe, you mean, right? When they're
I
barking.
mean both because I noticed that there are different strategies. Some people I even heard that they say, oh, if you go to Georgia, you have to take dog food with you. Like you have to find a place in there. This is like one approach. A different approach is how you should react because as you mentioned those are like from my perspective those are huge dogs. Yes,
Are.
and that's there is no chihuahua on the streets. Yes, so that's the like huge dogs or like little ponies, some of them looking. And what would be the best reaction, because some people may just not be also used to the animals of any sort like in the wild. And what would be the best for you and for the tourists and for the dogs as well, yeah, because maybe that there is
Yeah.
some kind of impact on them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to say that majority of stray animals in Georgia are completely friendly and they love people. They love communications with us. Although in suburb areas, they might be somewhat fearful for strangers. I mean, they sometimes just are very, I mean, careful, etc., but not aggressive. It's like, but it's happened very, very rare them to be aggressive if they are not in like huge groups or something. Yeah, as I have mentioned, if animal has a tag attached, it means that I mean it's sterilized. And If you notice, for example, that an animal needs maybe urgent medical attention, it is advisable just to take it if yourself, to just take them to the clinic. We can provide organizations like us, we can provide some information regarding which clinic are better for what, or where to find some food, or even Facebook groups, so where to post the information and ask people to help. It is better to ask people for help than to call to the monitoring agency, because they really do nothing, and pet maybe end up dead because of their reckless and lack of knowledge and infrastructure and everything. For example, reliable organizations which I can suggest are like we Zero Strays Georgias. We will like to help you guys at least give you some reliable information. Animal Project as well. We have very nice organization called Pet Easy that are focused on cats, and if something wrong with stray cats, you can ask their advice. We also have Ringo, which is a startup social enterprise, and Ringo is starting right now, and it has limited resources, but still you can call them and ask them if they can some help. Also, we have I don't know how to say it in English. In Georgian is Pisom Klubi, cat pussy lovers club to translate, and also this dog organization Georgia, that owners are not Georgians, but they are great people. They love pets, and they work in Georgia for many years now. Regarding, for example, foods, what should not be given to strays, and not just strays, for other pets as well, is like sugar in any shape, chocolate, alcohol, very fatty foods, also avocados. It's strange, but it's not allowed. Of course, no spicy or very salty foods. And I know that grilled or fried pork is also not advisable, but it's impossible for them to say no to the pork. So, they eat everything they are offered. So, I hope the pork will be not so much harm for them as well. Please
Okay.
don't give them
So
any
you
bones.
yeah, sure. No bones. We know it. No bones policy.
A lot of Georgians does not know that. Even my neighbor, I'm arguing with him for years, but he still is giving to our strays big bones. So nothing could
Okay.
How about hachapuri? I would just ask
True, yeah. Bread. I see many
Yes.
people giving bread, basically.
Bread, hachapuri, lobiani. That's like a three, those Tribeca or something, like three parts that I saw that people really gave them. I said, no, it will be fine. It's hungry. And I'm curious, what is your thought on them? Because that's something what tourists, they may have like leftovers. Yes, probably.
Maybe grab a hachapuri and just
Yeah. Exactly. There is like, oh, you can have some of my lobiani. Yes, and
they have survived it. I just can say that they are very strong strays, and they can survive Khachapuri and Lobiani, even though officially it's not advisable to give to pets. Like there are a lot of dairy, which is not so good, a lot of like bread, etc. But what can we do? Sometimes they really starving, especially on the roads and highways. So it is it's better to eat khachapuri than to be dead with hunger.
Yeah, and now I wanted to ask you about the adoption of stray dogs among Georgians, because we know that your organization also, Animal Project, Pet Rescue, Dog Organization Georgia, and many others, they organize adoptions by foreigners. But I'm curious, is there any increase of interest in adoption of stray cats and dogs, and not only dogs, cats and as well, among Georgians, Georgian citizens? Do they adopt animals from your organizations, from shelters, maybe?
Yeah, to talk with my perspective and my organization's perspective, we actually didn't have a case when we were not able to help the pet to get adopted. But I want to say that Animal Project is not focused on rescue missions, because we want to work more awareness campaigns, advocating to legislations, etc. There are some bigger problems we want to address, and for example, Zero Strays Georgia is more focused on helping adopted these pets. But yeah, there is reality that we have much more pets on the streets. There are people then that want to adopt them. So of course, it's very, very difficult to help pets to get adopted in Georgia. And also, it is very important to know for somebody that wants to help them get adopted. There are a lot of irresponsible people who ask for a dog or for a cat, and then you can realize that it was not such good owner. Maybe he or she can abandon them and leave them on the street as well. And we have absolutely nothing legislatively speaking. I mean, we have no law against that, and we cannot save these pets. And that's why we are very, very careful where we are choosing an owner. We ask them a lot of questions. We don't want them to get adopted in regions, in villages, because the situation there is much worse, and they don't have people there very often don't have enough money to feed themselves and to provide their own families, not talking about pets, but they themselves don't understand that. And we are just checking every little detail, what may be for us some red flag, and preventively say no to these askers. We don't communicate, and we don't work with people under 18, of course, and of course the problem is with students or people who live in rental houses, because a lot of landlords unfortunately don't want pets at their apartments, and sometimes it's then getting the reason that pets are abandoned twice and one more time. So it is very difficult to help pets to get adopted, and it is easier when you have a lot of contacts, when you have better social media, a lot of friends in social medias, maybe some influential people like influencers or celebrities who can help sharing this info, etc. But yeah, it's a hard work. It's not easy.
So to sum up, all of these organizations which work in Georgia, they have different approaches. You said that the Animal Project focuses on legislation, or on that invisible part, let's say, sterilization. Zero Strays Georgia, I know you lead sterilization campaigns. Also, you rescue. I know other pet rescue in dog animals. They rescue animals, but they also provide adoptions as well as Zero Strays Georgia. So in general, if someone wants to help these organizations, for example, Zero Strays Georgia, what should we do? I'm asking both for people who live in Georgia, are Georgians, or foreigners living in Georgia, and also people outside of Georgia. What can they do to support you? What's the best what we can do? Because I think the worst what can happen is this energy of help to be used improperly, or just it's to vanish in the process of searching how to help. What are your suggestions?
Of course, the greatest assistance comes from help, like with rehoming, helping with rehoming, spreading the word about us, sharing the info about Georgia and the situation, what is happening here. Also, very important is financial support because, for example, Zero Strays Georgia is working mainly with help of crowdfunding funds obtained, from a board, and these funds are not enough for they not fully cover the expenses. That's why financial support is, of course, very important for organizations like Zero Strays Georgia. You can also help us to find some international donors who maybe can help us with some special projects or programs, because, for example, Animal Project has been funded several times by European Union, UNDP, USAID, and we did have some projects. Of course, after this Russian law, it's very difficult for us to write something, win some grant, or do some work. But theoretically speaking, it is also a very good help if you can provide us some information regarding some opportunities to for us to have some funds. Yeah, that is the main point. And some people who are foreigners but live in Georgia, of course, can help us with their human resources. I mean, help themselves to strays, or helping us for maybe fostering, etc. A lot of problem we also have regarding fostering. We never have enough places and enough people, even when we are paying money, and even it's not voluntarily. We all almost every time have a problem find a foster, because a lot of dogs and cats cannot be rehomed and adopted right away. They need some help, they need some vaccinations, maybe they have some injuries, some diseases to cure, and we need some time. And because we don't have any shelters, they can provide, and shelters are, as you have already mentioned, in high risk in some directions. We need to have some foster homes and foster people, volunteers, or even people who want to take money for it. It's not a problem for us at all when we have enough funds. And helping in this direction also will be very, very helpful.
All the names that you mentioned will be putting in the show notes. So for viewers and listeners, you don't have to rewind and write them down. You have everything in the show notes in the description of today's episode. So you can just copy it or use it in situation if you both need it. As we discussed, you are in Georgia and you would like to support, and how you would like to react to any situation, or if you would like to being wherever you are, just to support those organizations. So that then there are links below. To conclude, one thing that you mentioned, because that will be probably the last topic. I just had a thought when you were talking about people in like rental apartments. There are some groups also of non-Georgians coming to Georgia for a year, etc., adopting the animals, usually cats or dogs, and then they have to go home. So and that's then I like almost each week I see on different Facebook groups I have to. Oh, hello. I have to go. I have to go home. Will someone take care of my pet? Yeah. So situations like that. So my thought was, and I just want to check that with you. If you are not living in Georgia and you are not planning to live here for long, if you want to adopt, take into consideration it's not just for 3 or 4 months when you are living. Yeah. So that's whether you had those situations like that, or maybe you have some tips for foreigners how to approach this situation.
Since these procedures are not very short to describe, we have created a detailed guide that you can check on our website under the transparency category, Zero Strays Georgia org. You have mentioned that the links will be
Yes, the links are there already.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As you are listening, the links are below us. Yeah.
Yeah, we will add this detailed guide as well,
Right.
if it's possible, of course.
Yeah.
And in general, yeah, because we are like in red zone for spreading rabies, and I mean this is official data. We are not allowed. I mean, Georgian pets are not allowed to cross the borders and go to Europe, for example, or other countries. That's why we need around 4 months quarantine zone and some procedures, some tests, and some vaccinates to do before we can take our pet with us abroad. But I mean, it's totally doable. We are doing that all the time because without these procedures, we wouldn't be able to rehome these pets abroad, and we already have found new homes for a lot of Georgian strays, and they live very happily in their new homes, not in Georgia, not in their homeland, but much happy, I think, than they would be in here.
Right. Marta, do you have any last question?
No questions, just full support from me, and I hope more and more neutralization campaigns will happen. And thank you for what you're doing, because it must be very hard to operate in this area and stay sane. So thank you, and thank you that you managed to meet with us. It was a pleasure, and I'm very happy that we did this episode. I think it was much needed.
Thank you for your support. Thank you very much for this opportunity, for this platform. I hope that my English was enough for our guests to understand the important parts of what we were talking about. And yeah, if you will have some questions, I mean, at least informatically, we are very, very happy to help us, guys. Thank you one more time for loving pets.
Thank you very much. I do hope our episodes will bring you like new light, maybe to the situation of stray dogs and in general stray animals in Georgia. Thank you, Natia.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you would like to see more interviews and talks like that, let us know in the comments. And remember also to subscribe, to leave like thumbs up and like our this episode. And as always, the audio version, video version, and a little bit of show notes you can find on our website on językniekaukasu.pl, and direct links for all of that you can find also in the show notes and description of today's episode. So my name is Asha, and I'm the owner of Języknie Kaukasu Languages of the Caucasus. I've been working with the Caucasus in Caucasus for many years, and if you want to also not only learn more about Georgia, but maybe you want to also learn Georgian language, we are the place for you. For more, go to our website. And thank you for today's episode. Oh, by the way, if you like today's episode, remember to also send it maybe to one of your friends who is also interested in this topic. So I'm heading back to the office, and I hope you liked also this way of us preparing the episodes. See you. Bye bye.